before I go into showing you how I played some stuff there, let's talk about the tone. I'm using my neck pickup, and I've got my volume rolled back a little bit. Cleans up the guitar quite a bit. Really want to learn how to ride that volume knob to find the sweet spot for each kind of particular thing that you're playing, whether it's a beginning of a lead, the full-on end of a lead, or the rhythm stuff. Okay, so now, as we said, it's a 12-bar blues with a little bit of a different turnaround. On the first chorus, I treated it the same way we did in the short version of the rhythm section. Second time through, I'm bringing it way down because I'm imagining somebody's soloing. So I'm going to bring the volume down and play a little less stuff. I'll show you how to do that in a second. So the third chorus is exactly like I did on the first one, or really close to it. And then on our fourth chorus, I'm going to do some higher voicings, filling up a little more space, add some more excitement. As we can imagine, that would be the end of a solo, bring it to the higher point of a solo. Okay, so there's a lot to talk about here. When you're doing funk rhythms, your driving force is going to be your right hand. I'm just doing 16th notes. And I've got an accent on the first one. 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E, as opposed to... It's kind of a... Okay, so my shape of my left hand, I'm going to use a B7, and I'm barring, as we talked about in the first time through, on the 7th fret with my thumb on the low string. I'm not actually going to play the B7 chord like I did in the first time. I'm just going to use this note, which is on the 4th string, on the 7th fret, to my 3rd finger on the same string on the 9th fret. So my first finger's got to be muting everything else. My 16th notes are chugging along, and I'll show you what I was doing. So I'm really not playing a lot of notes. 16th notes keep on going, but I'm not actually, you know, it's very far from soloing, and I'm not really playing any chords. It's kind of getting a little accent on certain beats. So here, right hand going up and down. Now, the real trick on the left hand is the muting technique, where I'm going to kind of bounce up and down, and I'm going to sound some notes. And how I sound the note is I push down on the string and kind of get that short feel. Okay, so you're going to probably some points get some extraneous string noise. Not too big a deal as long as it's kept to a minimum. The way to keep it to a minimum is, as I said, you've got to mute with that left hand. And the right hand, I'm kind of bouncing off the strings, muting sometimes the lower strings so I don't get overbearing on the low strings. So now my 4 chord, which is the E chord, and I have a simple, same exact thing, I'm going to drop it towards the floor 1 string, just with my first finger on a G string on the 7th fret, to the 9th fret. Muting's the big deal. First finger is barring, well not barring, it's resting across those strings, and I've got that rhythm there. My thumb comes over and mutes that low string, and the 5th string, actually the 6th and the 5th. Let's check that out. Okay, so that muting thing, once again, just everything's muted. So my right hand still doing those 16th notes. Now at some point you notice that everything's not... I look at it like an old record needle, lift that hand up while the rhythm keeps on going, because that's what gives you that driving feel. Give me an example. Okay, so now for my 5 chord, the flat 7 chord on the turnaround, I want that same A13 voicing, back to that E9, that riff there, and into the E7, sorry, F sharp 7 sharp 9. Okay, so that 3rd chorus, as I said, is exactly the same as the first. On our 4th chorus, we're going to move up to some higher voicings. I'm going to take B7, up here. I've got my first finger on the 9th fret on the 4th string, 3rd finger on the 11th fret on the 3rd string, 2nd finger on the 10th fret on the 2nd string, my pinky on the high string on the 11th fret. really get used to this voicing. It's really useful for a dominant 7. I see this, well, that's my root, that first finger. So if you kind of start envisioning that that's your C there, it's nice and easy to move that chord shape around. So I'm going to move my pinky up at some point. So I'll show you what I mean. Okay, when I go to the third chorus, I'm going to use a B7 chord. This voicing is really useful, so you might want to get used to using this one. My first finger is on the 9th fret of the D string. Third finger is on the 11th fret of the G. My second finger is on the 10th fret of the B string. My pinky is on the high string on the 11th fret. So I'm going to keep that same funk rhythm. Every once in a while I'll slide my pinky up and then bring it back down. So same kind of bouncing up and down with my left hand, keeping the 16th notes going. Nice, cool little 4-chord E7 right here. I'm going to bar on the 9th fret with my first finger from the 4th string up. I'm going to put my second finger on the 10th fret of the high string. Okay. I'm going to go back to that B7. Now for my A7, a little A triad here. So it's your first finger on the 9th fret of the 3rd string, second finger, second string 10th fret, third finger 11th fret of the 4th string. Then back to my E, back to my C, 7, and then my F sharp 7 sharp 9. Then I'm done. There's some really cool things you should think about here. Like I said, really concentrate on that left hand and the right hand muting when you're playing the funk 16th note stuff. Listen to a lot of James Brown. That's really where I got it from. Okay, now we've gone through all 5 lessons, and hopefully we're starting to see where blues rock can go. You can see where it starts off in a straight blues, and you go through the 70s with, say, Zeppelin, some of those fields, guys like Jeff Beck, great to listen to, of course Hendrix and Clapton, all the traditional guys, to the more modern players like Dave Grissom, Michael Landau, Scott Henderson, John Schofield, Mike Stern. You know, for me the list goes on. So things I think when you should practice here is you find guys you really like, find out who they listen to, and then find out, you know, more modern guys, listen to them, and then find out who they listen to. Keep on trying to find out where people got these elements from. Don't be afraid to go to different styles in music, maybe like jazz. Take a few of those elements, you put them with like a martial rock tone playing over a blues, and it doesn't sound like jazz anymore. It sounds like a modern blues rock approach to something. So don't be afraid to grab elements from other styles in music. In fact, I highly recommend that's what you do. So good luck with this. I hope you come back to these lessons a lot, and I hope to see you again soon. Thanks.